Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Rebecca, I'm 45 years old and I used to suffer from multiple sclerosis, but I no longer experience any of the symptoms since starting the carnivore diet just over 2 years ago. In today's video, I just want to do a general life update. If you've been following my channel, you'll know from my last video that my dog was very ill. And if you've seen my community tab, you'll know that since that video, he very sadly passed away. So although he did have a sickness, he did have a quite serious neurological condition, and I was actually facing the likelihood that I would have to put him down. In the end, he suddenly died from what I believe was a stomach infection that was just, that on top of the other illness was just too much for him to handle. And so he passed away overnight. I came into the living room and found him the next morning. So that was quite a shock, and I've taken a week to process that loss. I didn't make a video last week, I didn't post one. So yeah, obviously it's the natural course of events. I do accept it, I am at peace with it, and especially because a very good friend came and helped me to bury him. My good friend Simon came and at short notice actually, and helped me to bury him. So Elon is now buried in a very special place where I can visit him, and I've visited him every single day since it happened. And that's brought me a lot of peace that he's had, you know, a dignified place to rest where I can still go and think of him and take the other dogs, you know, and so that's been really special. So that's life, and life moves on. We never forget, but life moves on. Something else that's happened is that I am now rehoming my geese. I've made the decision to rehome them. I never actually meant to get geese. I took them in as a favour to somebody who suddenly had to go into hospital, and I was just going to foster them for a couple of weeks. Then that guy died, so I ended up keeping the geese. And it's not that I don't like the geese, it's that I haven't quite got the proper setup for them. So the same friend who helped me with Elon, the same friend found a place for them to go to, like a petting zoo where they will live out the rest of their lives. So I was considering sacrificing them and putting them in the freezer, but in the end they've got a new home to go to, and they will be looked after. So that's coming up in the next week. So I just feel like right now I could do with kind of simplifying my life, and just, you know, the peace of fewer animals is actually quite welcome. Obviously I would never be happy that my dog died, but it has meant that the household is a lot more peaceful, because Stanley, my other dog, and Elon didn't get on. Elon hated Stanley, and so whenever they were in the same room, Elon was barking, and that never got better. In the whole time they knew each other, he never got used to Stanley. He never stopped feeling threatened by Stanley. So now Stanley's happier, and it's just a quieter household. So I'm appreciating that. And with the geese gone, that's one less worry off my mind. Every night trying to get them in the barn, and will they or won't they go in the barn, and then will a fox get them if they don't? It's just that stress is, I don't want it anymore. So yeah, I will probably get geese again if and when I have a proper home for them that they don't feel reluctant to go into. I think the barn is too small and dark for them. So yeah, I would happily have geese again if I had a better setup. It's been a great experience having them. It's been a learning curve, because I want to go into homesteading, and that is my next update. I've been kind of teasing this update over the past month or so, and now I can confirm that I am going ahead with, drumroll, the purchase of a new cabin, a new cabana. Cabana Chronicles will be in a cabin once more. There's a lot of ins and outs which I can't really go into. You know, how can I possibly afford to buy a new cabin? Well, it's actually not as well as this house, but instead of this house, because there's been lots of legal complications with this house. I never actually finalised the purchase. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. I mean, there's more to it than that, but I am basically, instead of finalising this purchase, going for this other place. And this other place is actually a bit of a wild card option. It wasn't it didn't fit my list of criteria. One of my top criteria was that it would be a stone built cabin, for example, and this is not, it's a brick cabin. But it's also not in the area that I was initially looking for. It's in a different area of Asturias. It's still in Asturias, but it's in a kind of cheaper area where the property prices haven't risen so much, because property prices are rising all over Spain, like rapidly. So I don't have as many options as I would have liked. And I've been to see about 4 or 5 different cabins over the past year, but this one it's kind of reset my criteria, and that's why I'm super excited about it. So it's affordable, that's the first thing. It's on the affordable end of things. As I say, it's brick, and that was kind of a bit of a compromise for me, but you know, it's fine. It's a solid structure, it's habitable, that's the main thing. And what's really cool about it is that it comes with a fully functioning homestead. It's not been abandoned, basically. It did have a former owner, but that former owner died. So it's an inheritance. His children, his grown children, are selling it. So yeah, like, it's all the equipment's there for a homestead. You know, outbuildings, machinery. It's got about 6,000 meters squared of land, and it's fully fenced, like properly fenced for sheep, because with sheep you can't just have like an electric fence. They'll get out from underneath it. Like, you have to have proper wire fencing. And this is fully fenced. And it's also got about like 80 mature apple trees, which is something I hadn't had on my list of criteria. And I hadn't been thinking of going into apple farming. Obviously, I'm a carnivore, so why would I think that? However, I see lots of benefits in having an apple farm. The former owner actually made cider, so there's lots of cider making equipment and a cellar full of cider bottles. I'm not interested in cider. I'm more interested in like apple cider vinegar, for example, which I could sell, or apple compote, or I don't know, like apple products that I could sell. That I'm interested in. And also he had beehives and he had rabbit hutches. There's a chicken coop there. It's set up for lots of animals on a homestead. And there's a massive greenhouse, like a beautiful greenhouse to grow vegetables or whatever I want to grow. So as a carnivore, I love this because I can immediately get sheep, even a couple of donkeys. I would want donkeys not for meat, obviously. Sheep means that I can have an economically viable life as a carnivore. So that's my main thing. They also obviously keep the grass down, and donkeys help with the kind of overgrown vegetation a bit higher up. So sheep and donkeys is something I'm very excited for, and I would be able to go ahead with that without having to sort out the infrastructure first. It's all there. And as for like things like a greenhouse and the apple trees, I'm excited about that because I enjoy growing things. I like having a greenhouse. I would love to have this greenhouse. Is just beautiful, honestly. I'll actually insert a picture of it because it's worth seeing. This is the greenhouse. Yeah, it's super cool, and it's even got like a sprinkler system along the length of it, so it's just great. And so I do want to grow vegetables. I'm carnivore, but I see the value in growing vegetables for like selling or bartering, and for having a homestead with chickens. And I think I'll get ducks instead of geese in the first instance. I would get geese again, but I think for now I would stick to chickens and ducks, and maybe go ahead with the bees and have honey to sell. So I'm just like, wow. And it's up a mountain. It is up a mountain, but it's in a different part of Asturias. And the thing that I am perhaps most excited of all about, well, the thing I'm most excited about is the sheep. But the next thing is being up a mountain. And then the next thing after that is the fact that this area is close to the city. It's like half an hour away from Oviedo, which is a major city in Asturias. And to be honest, I feel like I'm kind of craving proximity to a city, like a proper city where they have like, there's lots of meetups in Oviedo and lots of options in terms of groups, like, I don't know, Tai Chi or whatever it might be. And I'm really in need of that. I'm really in need of human society at the moment. I've got my health back, I've got my energy back. I want to work hard on my homestead up in the mountains and then be able to pop into the city, maybe go to IKEA or go to a bar, you know, and meet up with people. That is what I need at this stage in my life. and this homestead offers that. The area is actually not as touristy, not as picture perfect as the area that I'm living in now. And some people are like, oh, it's like more crime in that area. It's not so, you know, it's kind of graffiti and drug addicts and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I went to see it and I was like, oh, this actually feels kind of like home, because I'm from Birmingham in England. And it kind of reminds me, if you know England, it kind of reminds me of like the Black Country, Dudley, that kind of area, like a post-industrial countrified area, which has got more of a down-to-earth atmosphere. The lack of tourism appeals to me. The more down-to-earth nature of the people there, that appeals to me, and the proximity to the city, that really appeals to me. So I'm really excited about it. I confirmed it last night with the vendor that we're going to go ahead, and I have a few months to be able to just complete the purchase and make the move. And so, yeah, it's all change once again. I haven't really been in a stable situation since I started the carnivore diet. And if you've been following my channel, you'll know this. Like, my life blew up in my face very badly, literally weeks after I started the diet. And I've been struggling to find my feet ever since. And I've been through deep depression and just a sense of not feeling like I have a home. And I've moved a couple of times since then because I just felt like I couldn't stay where I was when all the shit hit the fan. And like, it's been hard. It's been really hard. I've had my health back, but I haven't been in a stable situation. And even here in this house, that hasn't been the case because of the legal issues that I walked straight into when I attempted to buy this house. And those issues are still not resolved. This is my solution, is to basically find somewhere else and try and settle there. So yeah, the final thing I wanted to give an update on was my neurology appointment, which is upcoming. So I had an MRI scan not long ago, and my neurologist told me that I had new lesions. And if you watched that video, you'll know that I then came to question whether that was really the case, because he wasn't comparing the lesions, the load of lesions to a recent MRI scan. And that was because I've moved house twice because of all this instability. So he was comparing it to an older MRI scan, which was from before I started the carnivore diet. So actually, it's not clear yet if I really do have new lesions, or if those new lesions were since the older scan and the time from which that older scan happened and before I started the diet. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining it. It's a bit convoluted. It's clear to me that there's a good chance that those lesions that he's identifying aren't actually that new, that they could predate the carnivore diet. So I gave him a CD copy of a more recent MRI scan I had done in Galicia, and I am waiting for the appointment with him where he will tell me if there really are new lesions compared to that more recent scan. Hope that makes sense. And so that's coming up. So I just wanted to flag that up as something that's happening in the next week or two. Like, they said that it would be in February. I had a letter from the hospital saying it was going to be in January, saying it was going to be this week. But then the hospital rang me a few days ago and they were like, why have you got an appointment booked for January? And I was like, why are you ringing me to ask me why you booked me an appointment for January? I don't know, you tell me. They said, no, it's going to be February. And I said, well, that's what I thought it was going to be. But the reason I'm mentioning it now is that I got a comment come through today, actually, on my channel. And the comment said, as you had new lesions, I wonder why you don't combine preventative medicine with carnivore and fasting. Just curious, because more lesions are not very good news, or are you just not caring about them? Curious as you talk here as you have no lesions, when new lesions are not a very good thing. Sending hugs, stay strong. So I just wanted to clarify, I have clarified this before, the reason I don't combine preventative medicine with carnivore and fasting is because MS medication is not a small thing. It's heavy and it comes with side effects. They've even offered me chemotherapy for my MS as a kind of preventative thing. And the thing is, it doesn't prevent it either. It doesn't prevent the MS. All it does is slow down the progression of the disease up to a certain percent. And the lower grade, the entry level medications, only slow it by like 10 or 15%. That's my dog at the door. The higher grade, you know, when you've got a more advanced level of disease, the stronger medication, it comes with more side effects, and the most strong medication actually has as a side effect death. So hold on, you coming in, darling? Yeah, so it's not as simple as like, oh, I'll take ibuprofen and I'll be fine. Like there is a trade-off. If you take these medications, you will have side effects, and I don't want them. Now, I'm not advocating that as a course of action for everybody who has MS. Officially, there's a risk involved. The way I see it is that I don't have any symptoms right now. I may have lesions on my brain. As far as I know, they're not active, but we will find that out in the neurologist appointment. And there's a chance that new ones might not have grown. So I'm waiting to have that information before I make any further decisions about medication. But in the meantime, as I do not have any symptoms and I am living not as a sick person, I want to enjoy my life now and not be thinking of myself as a sick person. As soon as you're on medication, you're a sick person. You have got side effects and you're lining the pockets of somebody out there who's making a mint of your lifelong condition. I don't like that either. But in terms of my health, I know that a risk is involved in not taking MS medication, but also it means that I can live my life now and put all thoughts of MS out of my brain. And my neurologist might think that that's the stupidest thing in the world, that I'm living in denial, and he might be right, but I'm willing to take that risk because right now I'm not living in a situation where I have income and I have support. So I need to make the most of my healthy time so that I can strengthen my relationships and build back an income so that if it does come back, the MS, I will be in a better position to live if it does come back. So that's my logic. And also I was really quite traumatized by the experience of being a sick person in the NHS in the UK and being on Copaxone, which was what I was on for a year. I was left really quite traumatized by that. So there's a trauma element as well. I do not want to go back to being in that position, and that's just how I feel. And I don't know if it's the right decision, but as a carnivore, I am symptom-free, like completely symptom-free. And I am willing to take that gamble. And if I can contribute to the numbers of cases of people who go carnivore and experience better health, then I'm contributing to a very important experiment. And I'm willing to offer up my life to that. I'm willing to be somebody who takes that risk because it may end up helping a lot more people in the future. So that's the situation. But yeah, as I say, I just wanted to remind you guys that I've got this neurology appointment coming up in the next week or two, and we will have a bit more insight into what's going on in my brain as somebody on the carnivore diet with multiple sclerosis. Okay, so that's basically the video for today, just a general update, and I will see you guys in the next video when hopefully I'll be able to talk a little bit more about my new cabana. Okay, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.